Hey everybody, welcome on into the Delmarva Sports Insider. I am Sports Director Brandon Bossert.
What's up, it's your Shirley Sports Anchor Devin J. Martin. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got some basketball, we got some baseball, Brandon.
Yeah, that's right. Snow Hill basketball looking impressive so far in the Summer League. The Shorebirds looking to keep their bats hot. Got
that one backwards.
And we'll talk about the NBA Finals that you saw just now on WMDT. But first, we have a stacked show for you tonight. First, Y-High basketball taking a step back last season. Their run of 5 straight Bayside championships coming to an end last year.
Yeah, they're in a rebuilding phase, but this year they're looking to take a big step forward back to that Bayside contention, and that's exactly what the Summer League is for. You get to see some players who may make an impact on the hardwood in the fall and into the winter time. And so far this Summer League, they're showing that they're a better unit in the
This is the video that was
League.
supposed to play during the tease. Let's move on to the next video now that's going to show Y-High on the court earlier this week in the Premier League. It was a fantastic game. I talked with Butch Waller, and he is very happy with his players. Yeah,
they're pretty good, and they have nowhere to go but up. You see Mekhi Jeffers, he had 7 first-half points and more for them on the fast break. They built a 15-point first half lead, but here's a player to watch out for in the EZAC, Darius Lyles. No fear, through the trees, he lays it up for Delmarva Christian.
And more from Lyles here. Watch this with the pivot foot, works his way around, finds some space, and he's going into his junior year for Delmarva Christian. He'll be a player to watch out for. Y-High looking new and improved this year. 10 members of Y-High putting up points in this one. Tayshawn Swan, he'll be one of the top players for this team. We talked last year about how much we think he improved last season.
Yeah, when he was playing varsity as a freshman, he definitely had a lot of growing pains that he had to go through, but then he made a giant jump into his sophomore year, and now he's looking like he's the best player on a lot of the floor, a lot of the different games, and on the floor against a lot of the teams that he plays against going into his junior year, so I expect a lot from him.
Yeah, so the Summer League is big in terms of trying to build that foundation for especially young teams like Y-High, and that's what we talked with Tayshawn about. Let's listen in now.
Like I was saying, we was building communication, we was building chemistry, all that other stuff. We need work on about rebounding. We smaller than everybody. We're just a new team. We're young, so I think we always need to get used to playing with each other, get used to rebounding defense. But I bring the defense. We bring defense, I think. So I think just rebounding height. That's it.
Yeah, that's what Butch was telling me, is that they need a big man down low, but you know what? They're looking pretty good right now. This is a good foundation for Y-High to be at right now. They're really just a big man away from being one of the top contenders.
They haven't had true size in a few years. I obviously remember Antoine Wilson. He was a guard, but he was 6'5".
Right.
And when you're 6'5" on the high school level, you're basically bigger than 95% of the people you're going to match up with.
And James Freeman a couple years ago as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to see Swan is going to have to take a big step, not only from the scoring position, but he's going to have to be amongst the trees down there, get a lot of boards himself. And no, he wasn't the only one that was hitting the hardwood also yesterday. Snow Hill, the Hilltoppers playing the Jays from Seaford.
Yep.
And Seaford's been pretty good the past few years, but so has Snow Hill. And Snow Hill, they were off and running from the opening tip. Within the opening minutes, Snow Hill, Brandon, they led by 20 points. But
it was impressive.
Yeah, it really was, but you can't count out the Jays. There's a block party down at the Snow Hill Rec Center. We're all invited. That one leading to a fast break bucket, and that was a dirty spin move by Jordan Smith.
It sure was.
But it's just too much firepower from the school, from the Eagles side of things. Keandre Nixon lining it up. I mean, he might be the best scorer in the Bayside, Bayside North and South.
He might be 1,000-point scorer already going into his senior year.
Yeah, he's a big-time player to watch out for. Hilltoppers take it convincingly last night over the Jays. We spoke with Keandre Nixon after the game.
All we really need to work on is ball movement. Work on ball movement and more defense, and we should get there. Really to see who we're going to run into for the next season. That's basically what it is, see who we're going to play. Because 1A looking weak this year, I feel like we can do it.
That's hilarious. See, he's even seeing it. He's very. I love the confidence. I love the confidence. That's how you know he's a senior.
He's been around. 1A is weak.
Yeah, but he said it himself. He's got a lot of confidence. I think, Brandon, that's because he's played basketball here for so long. He can kind of see what's out there, and he has a lot of confidence in his skills. And
he should, because Keandre has been one of the top scorers in the Bayside the last few years, and he thinks that he's got a pretty good team around him at Snow Hill, which they do, by the way.
Yeah, they were one of the best teams from the whole season last year.
Now, stay updated with us while we're at these games in real time. Follow WMDT Sports on Facebook and X right now. And back to the rest of the action, Laurel and Delmar, two teams that are building for a potential run at the Henlopen South title in 2025. This was a great game down to the finish. Khalid Burton with a big second half for Laurel. He had all 13 points that he scored in the second half. Delmar has a big man themselves, Dustin Peterson. He's going to be big for them in the paint this year. Putback goes for him. Delmar kept it close throughout, but Laurel Dogs coming out in front. Those two are going to be two of the teams to watch out for in a wide open Henlopen South this year.
So, Brandon, when I think of the Laurel Dogs, Khalid Burton is one of those two players that come to mind. Obviously, Brock Hill, the other one. Both of those two teams, players, underclassmen
and
for the
Keyshawn
Dogs.
Copes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have a lot of experience, especially when you got a lot of sophomores playing last year. They're going to take a big step this year for the Dogs. So I see a lot. I expect a lot from Khalid Burton this year.
Yeah, and that's what they're hoping for. Grove City and Bull on the Beach now. Camarion Hall. Let's see those highlights now from Grove City and Bull on the Beach. Here's Camarion Hall from downtown lining it up and splash down. All right, Grove City out in front early. Decatur responding back. Solomon David hitting some big shots for Bull on the Beach. Not afraid to go up against the big men of Cambridge. This was impressive stuff in the first half from him. Great back and forth game between these two. Kobe Ennels lighting it up from behind the arc as well. These two should be two of the top contenders once again this season.
Bayside Championship rematch. Obviously, Cambridge was able to upset the Seahawks and get that win, and making it all the way to the state championship. And Kobe Ennels is back. Anthony Hughes is back as well. So I expect a lot from Cambridge. Maybe they can go all the way back to the championship in the 1A.
Yeah, exactly. So what did you see that really stood out to you this week at the Premier League?
That's a great question, Brandon. Obviously, they had games yesterday, but on Monday, when I saw the Jays play, they were looking like the Splash Brothers out there. They had a game, and they hit 11 threes, Brandon. That is the one thing that stood out to me. I had never seen shooting like that on the high school level at all. They were really good.
11?
11 threes. 11 threes. I made sure to count.
That's impressive stuff from Seaford there.
Yeah, I made sure to count, look at the scoreboard and scorebook and count all those threes at least 3 times over to make sure I got that right. But another thing that stood out to me, why hide? You know, Snow Hill was one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the entire Bayside last year, and the Tribe were able to beat them on Monday. The undermanned Tribe as well, an undersized Tribe. Keandre Nixon did play in that game, and they were able to beat them, I think, by about 3 or 4 points. So the fact that they can play them very close like that, that also surprised me too.
Yeah, and I'm going to stick with Snow Hill here because I think that a lot of people are looking for the Eagles to take a big step back this year after Jaden Hudson, Jazavion Dix, among others, graduated from that team last year, but they still have enough talent to compete in that Bayside South.
Yes, and that gives Keandre Nixon the green light, though. You can see him going from 20 a game to 30 a game. He's going to get a lot of shots. He's already
going to be that number 1 option, that's for sure.
He's
That'll go for the A block.
Like that.
We're calling our first time out, but when we come back, the NBA Finals, Game 4 just wrapping up. We'll talk about tonight's game when the Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
I'm Anthony Hughes from Cambridge, South Dorchester, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.